Hello, everybody. Welcome to the introduction to real estate or REVA training. So, this training is live only on YouTube and is available to only those who sign up as well. So, if you are here, thank you very much. I know there are almost 300 people, there are 2,000 people who signed up. So, thank you so much for your warm welcome to this training. And if you are here right now, please let me know where you're from so we can recognize you. Hi to everybody watching from the Philippines or in outside the country. May you be in United Kingdom, Emirates, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, wherever you are. My name is Julmar Grace Luxin. I am the CEO and founder of Surge Marketplace, and we are here in order to talk about this one. This is the real estate virtual assistants. And as you have known, we have a special guest today. So let me go ahead and introduce him real quick. He is no other than my husband. Okay, his name is Jay Loxine, and he is the founder and owner of FVA. He is a husband to me, and then father to our beautiful twins, Savi and Thais. And in the past, he used to work as a DJ, also as a radio station manager. He used to also handle a company and focusing on real estate virtual assistants, and he loves the Lord and he's a man of faith. Um, we're going to be discussing real estate virtual assistants today, and the flow of training is going to be us discussing the topics. So we're going to be here for around 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And then after going through, there will be some question and answer. So I will go back after I'm going to give the floor to Coach Jay. And then later on, we're going to give you a gift towards the end and also the code of training. And the code of training will be the basis of your certification. So please watch out because after the training, there will be question and answer, and then we will send you a code, and that will be the basis for you to be able to answer the feedback form. And in that feedback form, we will be asking you some questions also that will be relevant to this training today in order for you to be certified. And the certification will be sent to you within probably 10 to 15 days, okay? Because there are 2,000 plus who signed up for this training. So let's go ahead and start with our conversation. Please help me welcome Coach Jay. He's going to be talking about the following topics. We have here the contents of our training, and these are what is real estate virtual assistants, the history of real estate virtual assistants. Why was there a trend when it comes to serving clients in real estate? Why is it the hottest niche today in freelancing? And then we're going to discuss a little bit of an overview into the different tasks in real estate virtual assistants. And these are multiple listing services, transactions, real estate investing, real estate valuations or BPO, maybe the types of BPO as well, short sales, commercial property management, or also property management. So here we go. Let's go ahead and give the floor to Coach Jay.
All right, good evening, everyone. And again, thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope that you guys are ready to learn. And let's see what we can do here. Yeah. So I hope you guys are ready to learn tonight. It's going to be kind of a lot, but I believe it's something that you guys can grasp and not be overwhelmed with. Also, don't worry because if there are jargons and words that you don't understand, you can go through the course, and that's where everything will be explained. And so, you know, everything will be understood. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Real estate virtual assistants. Okay, so real estate, what is REVA? REVA, or Real Estate Virtual Assistance, offers a wide range of administrative support and services that allows the realtor to focus more on high priority tasks and grow the business instead of doing the busy work to maintain it. So basically, you're going to be the hands and the feet of the realtor or the investor when it comes to the real estate business. It's kind of weird because hands and feet, but you're in the Philippines, right? But um, what that basically means is that you're going to be doing most of the workload so the realtor or the agent can focus on actually just meeting the seller of the house or meeting the people that are wanting this to sell their property or wanting to buy a property, and you take care of the paperwork, right? It's really easy. It's a really easy job to do. It just sounds kind of overwhelming and sounds big, but really when you know what to do, it's a piece of cake. Okay. So it is the property, land, building, air rights above the land and underground rights below the land. Uh, the term real estate means real or physical, or the property, quote unquote real, comes from the Latin root res, or things. Others say it's from the Latin word rex, meaning royal, or like the royalty. Okay, since kings used to own all land in their kingdoms. The U.S. Constitution initially restricted voting rights to only owners of the real estate. So if you don't own a real estate or a property in the U.S., you can't, basically you can't vote. Okay. Okay. So the four types of real estate. There's the residential real estate. There's the commercial real estate, industrial real estate, and land. Okay. But before we get into those, let's talk about the REVA history first. So I don't expect you to remember all these dates, but this is just kind of good to know. If you want to take a screenshot, yes, go ahead and do that. Started in 1800s, the first major real estate acquisition made by U.S., and then 1855, first real estate brokerage was established. In 1908, the National Association of Real Estate Agents was founded, and then 1938, development of the Federal National Mortgage Association. You know what mortgage is? It's basically what you're paying for on your house. Let's say you bought a property, you give the amortization pay, and then you start paying for the monthly fee on the house. We in the Philippines we call it rent to own, right? So in the U.S. it's called a mortgage. Okay, like let's say you purchase a motorcycle from Motor Trade, right? So you give them a down payment of 3,000, 4,000 pesos, and then the remaining amount of money that you need to pay them will be paid monthly, right? That's the mortgage. Okay. So in 1960, local multiple listing service began sprouting up state by state. And then in 1970, the federal home loan mortgage composition. In 1980, saw historically high mortgage rates because properties are becoming more expensive because real estate is booming. So it's becoming a really good business. So mortgages are going really high. And then the 1990s started with a heralded a new era in real estate as listings started becoming available online, because this is when the internet started, and selling online started. And then fast forward 6 years, first idea of virtual assistant came to be. Anastasia Bryce had a simple phone call with Thomas Leonard. And then 1997, Anastasia founded the first virtual assistant company, the Assist U. Okay. Then 2007, mortgage crisis. If you remember, George W. Bush, when he was running for presidency, promised everyone, including the homeless people, that they will be able to get a house, that they will not be, what do you call it, restricted by the banks to own a property. So everybody had a chance to get a property. But the problem with that is not everybody is able to pay for the monthly mortgage. Again, mortgage is the monthly payment you do for the house, right? So not everybody was able to pay for the mortgage. So what happened? Houses started going into foreclosure, being repossessed by banks. For example, in the Philippines, you purchase a motorcycle and you start paying monthly, and you fail to pay your monthly fees for 3 months. Motor Trade will then repossess your motorcycle. It's the same process with properties in the U.S. So because George W. Bush promised everyone to have the opportunity to have a house, but not everybody was able to pay for the mortgage, banks started to issue um, foreclosures on properties that were not being paid for. And so now there's an influx of property in the market that needs to be sold so the bank can get back their money. And in 2012, Econom economy showed signs of a full recovery because the real estate business started going up. Okay. So why REVA is the hottest niche today? Okay. What is the demand for real estate virtual assistants? There are about 1.3 million realtors in the United States alone, according to National Association of Realtors. And take note, this is only realtors. This is not counting the investors. There are also people that are called real estate investors. They're not licensed realtors, but they do purchase properties, fix them, and sell them, which is also a real estate business. Okay, so there are more than 1.3 million basically people that are doing the real estate business. Realtors are in a highly competitive field because there's a lot of houses and properties that are being foreclosed by the bank. So there's a lot of work involved with being a realtor. First is being in contact with the banks, and then doing an appraisal on the property, taking pictures of the property, talking to the owner of the property. There's a lot of things that they can't do on their own that they need a virtual assistant for. So they're running their own business basically, and they're constantly juggling sales, marketing, customer service, research, and transactions. The smart ones, though, those who want to grow their business or their real estate business, uh, both licensed realtor and investors, they hire assistants. Okay, they need to hire assistants to have an edge. This will save them time, so they can not only focus on their clients and networking to get more leads, but they can have more work-life balance. Okay, so while realtors can hire any assistant, using a real estate virtual assistant will give them more options. They can delegate more than just calendar management. Okay, real estate virtual assistants can help with tasks that will generate revenue. They're experts in their field and can probably educate realtor on some best practices they might not have heard of. For example, like the use of yellow letters, sending people yellow letters asking them, hey, if you want to sell your property, call this number and give us information about the house, and we'll see what we can do. We're going to offer you all cash on the property. So basically all of the real estate agents and real estate investors are in dire need of a virtual assistant to kind of grow their business, because there's just too many things to do, that if they do it on their own, they are basically losing opportunities, because it's a fast-paced business, and if they don't catch up on the pace, they're losing properties to sell, they're losing properties to make appraisals on. So that's where you as a virtual assistant comes in. Okay, so let's talk about the REVA task overview: the multiple listing service, transactions, real estate investing, real estate valuations, or BPO, that's broker price opinion, short sales, commercial, property management. Okay. Okay, so what is multiple listing service? A multiple listing service, also called multiple listing system or multiple listing service, is a suite of services that real estate brokers use to establish contractual offers of compensations among brokers and accumulate and disseminate information to enable appraisals. A multiple listing service database and software are used by real estate brokers and real estate representing sellers under a listing contract to widely share information about properties with other brokers who may represent potential buyers or wish to work with a seller's broker in finding a buyer for the property or assets. In short, multiple listing service is basically kind of like a social media platform for all of the real estate agents. That is the platform where they put all of the information about the property that they're trying to sell, and also find properties that will suit what their clients are wanting to buy. If they want, if the client wants a property that has 3 bedrooms, 1,800 square footage, 2 baths, they can go to multiple listing service and type in all of those information, and what location they want to find a property like that. And basically, they'll find it through the multiple listing service. It's basically a social media platform for all of the agents, real estate agents. So they can advertise properties and they can find properties that are within the area that they want to find a property for. Okay. And then transaction coordination. It is the process of getting a property transaction under the broker's listing. Tasks can include, um, sorry about that. That's included. Coordinating with banks, coordinating with a county, county office to get the tax information on the property, enrolling the property in the multiple listing service, basically advertising it on their social media platform. When listing agreement is confirmed, updating property information in the multiple listing service when new information is available. Okay, so they coordinate with banks if banks has properties in their listing that they want appraisal for. Okay, so they get that property and make appraisal for that property. That's what you're going to do. The real estate agent's not going to do that. What the real estate agent's going to do is go to the bank and say, hey, do you have a property that needs appraisal? And the bank will say, yes, we have 10. We're going to give it to you. So they give it to the real estate agent. And then the real estate agent now will contact you and say, hey, I have 10 properties that needs appraisals. That's when you come in and create an appraisal on the property, make adjustments, talk about what needs to be done on the property, cosmetics, new paint, new lawn work, new light fixtures, all this and that to come up with a selling price for the property. Okay. Coordinating with a county office to get the tax information on the property because you want to know what or how much the tax is on the property before deciding to buy. Okay, and then after that, if you and the client have decided on the price of the property, you can now put it onto the multiple listing service to be advertised as for sale. Okay, and then if anything changes on the property down the road, you can go back to the multiple listing service and update the property information. Now, next. There's also the real estate investing. This is on the other side of real estate now. This involves the purchase, ownership, management, rental, and or sale of real estate for profit. Improvement of realty property as part of real estate investment strategy is generally considered to be a subspecialty of real estate investing called real estate development. Real estate is an asset form with limited liquidity relative to other investments. It is also capital intensive. Although capital may be gained through mortgage leverage and is highly cash flow dependent. If these factors are not well understood and managed by the investor, real estate becomes a risky investment. Okay, so let's talk about this. Basically, what a real estate investor does is look for a property within an area, ask the owner if they're wanting to sell their property. If they do, the investor will then offer the owner to buy the property cash and close the deal within 3 days. The owner don't have to do anything but to sign a paper, get the money, and get out of the house. Now, after purchasing the property, the investor will look for things that needs to get fixed and then will fix it. After that, he will sell the property for a much higher profit. Okay. I mentioned earlier that it is capital. What do you call it? It's a capital based business, but if you handle it well, you can really make a lot of money with investing. Okay, so um, basically, real estate investing would purchase, fix, and sell. That's all they do. Purchase, fix, sell. Purchase, fix, sell. And what you do as a real estate investing virtual assistant is you you will be the one contacting people if they want to sell their property. You will be the one gathering information on the property, information on what needs to get fixed, information on what needs to be developed, and then you'll be the one looking for people that will buy the property. Okay? Now, next is real estate valuations or BPO or broker price opinion. The methods for analyzing the value of a real estate investments are what's this? Analogous to those used in fundamental analysis of stocks, because real estate investment is typically not a short-term trade. Analyzing the cash flow and the subsequent rate of return is critical to achieving the goal of making profitable investments. To profit, investors must know how to value real estate and make educated guesses about how much profit each will make, whether through property appreciation, rental income, or both. Accurate real estate valuations can help investors make better decisions when it comes to buying and selling properties. In our REVA course, this is explained thoroughly about how to do a valuation on a property. So basically, you will compare your subject property to properties that are currently in the market and see how much, by guessing, how much the property should be sold for. And the educated guess that you will make on how much the property should be priced would be based on the information that you gather from the multiple listing service regarding the properties that are currently on the market and the properties that have been sold in the last few months. Okay. So, although we call it educated guess, it is not actually a guess. It is actually a solution of comparing properties apple to apple and then seeing what the difference are, and through those differences you come up with a price that you would sell the property for. That is how you do broker price opinion. And again, this is thoroughly explained in our REVA course. I think this is the coaching session number 4. And if you're interested, you'd really learn from there. Okay. Next, short sales. So a short sale occurs when a homeowner is in dire financial trouble and sells their home for less than they owe on the mortgage. You see that? They sell their home for less than what they owe on the mortgage. Let's say they owe $200,000 on the mortgage, but because of their need, they have to sell the property for $20,000 and then still have to pay the rest or the remaining amount on the mortgage. Does that make sense? Because they just need the $20,000 today. And then they're going to have to figure out a way how to pay the $180,000 left on the mortgage. Okay? The lender of the original mortgage gets all of the proceeds of the sales and either forgive the difference or gets a deficiency judgment, which requires the original borrower to pay what's left over. Exactly. Next is commercial PE, private equity. Okay. Private equity commercial real estate is an asset class that includes public investments and pooled private investments placed in the property markets. Okay. A pooled vehicle is used to acquire and finance the ownership for commercial property. So basically, you're using your property as a collateral to get money, and then turn it into an income generating property. Okay. Next is property management. This is a daily oversight of a residential or commercial or industrial real estate by a third party contractor. Generally, property managers take responsibility for day-to-day repairs and ongoing maintenance, security, and upkeep of the properties. They usually work for the owners of investment properties such as apartments and condominium complexes, private homeowners, communities, and shopping centers and industrial parks. Their main role are to manage routine tasks delegated to them by the owners and to preserve the value of the property they manage while generating income. So while the property is being rented, they make sure that the property is in great condition. That way, when the people that are renting it right now leave, the property is still in great condition for the next renter. Okay. Okay. Let me show, or let me tell you my own REVA story. When I started, as a REVA, a virtual assistant, I started with appraisals, broker price opinion. Okay, so we would get I would get 10 to 20 properties to appraise every day. And then, I would use the multiple listing service to, get information about the property, and then get information about comparables, and then create the broker price opinion. So I did that for about 2 years. We started this company it's now called Flat World Solution. Before it was the outsourced link. So it was me and my wife that started that company, and we also managed it. And um, since we started doing that, we've learned so much about the real estate business in the US that when we got pregnant with twins and the doctors told us to stay home because it's a high risk pregnancy, we had to quit our jobs and have to find work online and working from home. That's when we started or I started becoming a virtual assistant for real estate people. Excuse me. And then when I started working, I did appraisal still. And then down the road, I did not know that there's also this thing called real estate investing, where I call people about property information, ask them if they want to sell their property, and then we offer cash. And while I was working online at home, I started doing that too. And to be honest with you, I really wasn't expecting much about it, because I thought, you know what, this is online, and um, it's probably not going to be very stable, and it's probably not going to last. So I was just glad for the moment that I have something, I'm making something while at home. I wasn't expecting anything out of it until it started growing. And I kid you not, we started making 250 to 270,000 pesos a month just by doing this real estate virtual assistants. And my wife has her own clients as well. While working her own clients, we sat down one day and we did the math, and we were shocked, because we're like, we are making 250,000, a quarter of a million a month. We were able to buy everything, house, a car, in cash, right? And so that's when we thought, wow, maybe we really need to take this seriously. And when we did, it just all the more increased our revenue up until, the way that we live our lives now. It's all because of virtual assistants. Right now, we're just focusing on, surge and building this company. But when we started, this really created a massive uh, opportunity for us as a family. We were able to travel overseas every year. Um, we were able to purchase cars, cash, live in a nice neighborhood, all the good things that comes with having a lot of money. Imagine what you could do with 240, 250,000 a month. We were able to save, we were able to get insurances, so with that said, it's not impossible for you to succeed in this as well. Did I know everything when I started? Was I a master of real estate investing? No, I wasn't. I learned as I go. I made a lot of mistakes. I've had clients that had to let me go because I did not know what to do, but I kept going. I never took no for an answer. I kept going, and it really paid well. Okay, and so I want to encourage you that you might feel like, hey, I'm not sure about this. Hey, just look at my life. Look at how we're living now. This is all because of virtual assistants. And I hope that you really do see the opportunity in this. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So REVA is in demand today. Okay. So let's talk about our real estate virtual assistants, or the REVA course. Before it was, we offered it for 4,000 pesos. This was before the pandemic. But because we know that um, everybody is going through difficulties right now, and it's financially challenging, we are offering it to our early bird from April 1st to April 15 for only 1,000 pesos. And then ang promo price will be April 16 to April 30th for 1,500 pesos. And to talk more about that, I'm going to give you my wife here. She's right next to me, and she's going to discuss that to you because she's better at things like this. I can teach you real estate, but she can talk to you about the details of the enrollment. Okay?
All right. So when we're talking about real estate, we know that this has been an in-demand niche. We are seeing a lot of influx when it comes to the real estate virtual assistant. So that's why we're giving you guys the introduction on what possible things that you can do and what you can learn from here. Because during the pandemic, there were a lot of people who are considering work from home and considering quality of life. So a lot of people were also looking into how to be established at home. So buying homes, even here in the Philippines, has been a factor. So that's why you are able to have this opportunity to learn real estate virtual assistants. So these are the coverage, and while I'm discussing on this one, you can add your questions. I know we have 200 plus comments and 500 plus people in here. So we are going to be discussing or going through real estate basics, and then afterwards the types of real estate, and then types of transaction coordination and MLS, residential property, RE, real estate owned, also real estate investing, commercial, and then I'm also going to come in and teach you about how you can use social media in your real estate marketing. And then I'm also going to teach you website creation and management. And then also there are other lessons that will be discussed within the course, like the bonus lessons on Facebook ads, also your real estate branding. So you can really apply and be effective when it comes to how you can earn as a real estate virtual assistant. I know earlier, I was talking to a few people during the email, and they're saying that they have an agency or they have partners, and they have been seeing that this is the niche that a lot of clients are hiring. So go ahead, and I hope that this has given you a little bit of a preview on what you can expect. So earlier we discussed about how to do investing, also real estate task, but you're going to learn more on this one when it comes to the very course. Okay, so before we're going to end, let's go ahead and have some questions here. We know that we have a lot of questions here. Okay, to all of you guys saying, I'm sorry I couldn't really go back. And then we're just going to say thank you. Okay, Coach G and I are saying thank you to the 300 plus comments earlier that's saying thank you for this one. Yes, Facebook ads for real estate. So it's already included in there, and then how you can manage the you can also manage the company and then website. So here's a question here, Coach J. Are working students qualified to work as a real estate virtual assistant?
See, this is the beauty about working as a virtual assistant because everybody's qualified. You can be young, you can be old, you can be a student, or you can even have a full-time job during the day. If you can handle your time, if you can produce good output to your clients, you are going to do well. What I ask though is that if you become a virtual assistant, do you make sure that you produce good quality output? Why? Because your output, if it's bad, it will also determine the opportunities of other Filipinos that wants to work online, because clients from overseas will say, "Oh, from the Philippines they always have bad outputs." And
Mhm.
so, it's a ripple effect. If you want to be helpful, give good output to your clients. It will also open doors to other Filipinos to find jobs, because now clients will say, "Yeah, I hire Filipinos only because they have great output." So, yes, working students are definitely fine. Older people are fine. Younger people are fine.
Mothers,
Mothers,
fathers.
fathers, it's fine. Our sons, actually, they're 9, and they are currently enrolled in a graphic design course. So they're learning that, and it's yeah. This is the beauty of being a freelancer, being a virtual assistant. Is because you're always qualified.
Thank you very much, Coach. We also have Ridelin. Thank you for being always one of our students who are supporting us all the time. No problem. This is recorded. Okay. To those who are asking, Reva portfolio, somewhat the portfolio of freelancing course.
No, it's very different. Reva portfolio is focused more towards real estate. You will do appraisals, you will do broker price opinions, you will do call recording, multiple listing service, property description tasks. Basically, everything that you do for a real estate agent, that's what your portfolio is going to be. Why is that important? Because when you start applying for a job, your portfolio is what you're going to show your clients and tell them, hey, I know what to do. I do multiple listing service. Here's my portfolio. I know appraisals. Here's my portfolio. So let's focus on real estate.
So all of the tasks that you are doing, it will be practiced in real estate virtual assistants. What are the basic skills for the Reva process? I think we mentioned it earlier, but would you like to discuss more?
I would just say confidence. Because when you start calling people, some are going to be very straightforward with you. And if you're not confident, they will swallow you alive. And then for when it comes to appraisal, understanding the market. And that
You're
all,
going to be submitting it to banks like
yeah,
Bank of America, like real banks.
yeah.
So, but the beauty of this one, that's why we're only giving you the introduction, is that these are all detailed in the training,
Yeah.
because these are not some of the things that we can discuss in a live training like this. This is why the introduction is only for you to be familiar with how it works, because the things are going to be discussed in
The details
yeah,
of
the
it.
detail.
It's gonna make you a wizard of real estate.
Yeah. So we have here Reva course is 1,000 for early bird. Currently it is, but if you are a part of those who sign up, we have a gift for you, and it might
Later,
be,
stay tuned.
yeah. So we will give it to you via email. Later, we're going to be giving you the code in order for you to um, get the feedback form.
Thank you, Jeriel.
Is the access to Reva course will be lifetime or 1 year? So it's going to be 1 year. Why is this 1 year? And this is for all of our courses except for the mini course and the premium, because we have experienced a lot of our students who would enroll, but they don't actually get to work
Yeah.
afterwards, because they just kind of trust that, oh, it's just there. I can just go back. And then 3 years after, 5 years after, nothing actually happened. What we want from you is work. So you're earning, like what our students are experiencing, like now 50,000 per month,
Yeah.
100,000 per month. We want your lives to be changed. So we put a little bit of a deadline there, so you can start learning the skills and you can position yourselves to really learning everything.
Remember this. If you enroll, you're spending money for enrollment and spending time to learn. If those investments don't make you money, it's a waste. So that's why we put a deadline or dates on it, because we want you to start earning. Like I've had students that were in week 3 of the course and they got hired and they said, hey, I'm gonna be late with the portfolios because I'm working already. I said, take your time. That's to me, the most important thing is you're
You,
getting paid.
yeah.
That's it.
So it's not having the access, it's not having the enrollment, but you getting paid and getting the work. So for the how much is the fee for this? We're going to give you later on via email. Okay, after you fill in the feedback form. Right now it's 1,500
Yeah.
or 3,000. The one who's the video is blur. We blur the background a little bit, but there you go. It's not blurred anymore. Real estate job, na walang calls
Yeah.
possible for newbies. Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about real estate virtual assistants, where you only do appraisals on the property. Remember, earlier I talked about having an educated guess on the price of the
Valuations.
property. Valuations. That's the part of the real estate that doesn't involve calls.
Yes. And the ones that were mentioned earlier by Coach Jay, you can focus on those as your niche. Like, for
Yeah.
example, we know a lot of people who are just focusing on valuations, just doing BPOs,
Yeah.
and they charge the client $10 to $20
Sure.
per BPO, because the clients are also being paid by banks at $50 to $70 per BPO or broker price opinion.
Yeah.
So you can charge the client at least $6 to $10, and you
Per
can focus,
BPO.
yeah, per BPO, and you
And
can focus on that only.
let me tell you this: doing a broker price opinion, a BPO appraisal, is only difficult in the first week. On the second week, you can do it with your eyes closed if you're really just, focused. I had a student before that only focused on the valuations. She was able to buy Ford Focus vehicle, get a house, centralize the house. The whole house is air conditioned, and live a really good life. So, it, yeah, man, this is exciting actually for you. I want to see you succeed on this.
Yes, there are companies who are hiring newbies. Reva bookkeeping, yes, there is. Actually, the first job that we had was
Yeah,
in online bookkeeping
QuickBooks
for QuickBooks for real estate virtual assistants. I mean, for real estate
company.
companies. So you can also match if you are into. If you are a BPO agent or a call center agent and you have experience in calls and you can focus in just calls,
Yeah.
and it's very easy. You don't have to do sales. You just have to ask,
Input.
yeah, input, in database and ask like how big is the property, how many rooms, how many toilets, the square footage, what's the reason for selling. Very, very simple. And then when it comes to online bookkeeping, you're probably going to be needing online bookkeeping or online accounting, but it's also for real estate. Mayroong pong nag-hire sa akin na Reva, they're asking to invite 10 person before hiring. Is
No,
this legit or no?
no. You have to always remember, if somebody wants to hire you and ask you to pay first or get more people first, don't go for that. That's
Usually a
usually a
scam.
scam. Yeah.
Because when we're talking about real estate brokers and agents, these are people with money.
Mm.
When we're talking about real estate investors, these are usually doctors or
Lawyers, teachers.
lawyers, and they have the money, so they don't scam you if they are genuine or legit. So look for that. How much is the fee? How can we start? We're going to be emailing those, so watch out for the email after you have filled in your feedback form. Thank you very much. Most real estate company require experience as an applicant. How can we be hired?
That's not true. When I started, I did not have any experience. I just applied for the job, but what I did was I was honest. When we did the interview, I said, "Look, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before, but I'm very much willing to learn." That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear you lie and say, "Yeah, I know what to do," and then when they give you the task, you don't know what to do. Just be honest and say, I'm just learning. Or when you go through our course,
For
you can
sure.
say, "Well, I've trained with Surge. I have a certificate. I can also show you my portfolio."
Yeah.
They know Surge. And so when they see that you've done it with Surge, then you definitely get hired.
Your portfolio will really do it for you.
Yeah.
When it comes to online bank teller, maybe something on the financials, Celine, like online bookkeeping, accounting.
Also, the valuation, Celine, that's working more towards bank because you're appraising a property and submitting it to Bank of America, Fannie Mae. Those are all bank transactions.
So you can also be a part of that. I think the other general VA course, more like general VA. However, it's really dedicated towards real
Real estate.
estate. So real estate. So general VA can be just any,
But we do have a general
yeah,
VA
the
course. It's called
freelancing course.
freelancing course.
So I think already answered this one. Not to be late, virtual assistant pandemic ended, starting to be on face to face. Yes, Lisa, but a lot of people are already used to online transactions, automations, the quality of life. So I don't think it's going to change, even if the pandemic is there. I think people are adapting to hybrid situations or work from home. So the work from home situation, freelancing is still going to go up. In the US alone last year, there are around 50 million people who resigned because they don't want to go back to the office setting. Even here in the Philippines, like there were a lot of viral posts about working from home because not a whole lot are going back because we have been used to automations, to the beauty of freelancing and working from home because it's the same effectivity, it's the same output. So yeah, I think it's not going to end. You will still be in demand. Basic skills required, retraining, maybe English skills, maybe your communication skills, writing skills, email. But when you go through the training, for sure, there's high hiring rate for you guys. Multifamily real estate.
We are definitely talking about multifamily. We're talking about single family residential. double wide, single wide, multifamily. We're talking about condominiums. We're talking about um, industrial property, all kinds of properties. They're all tackled in the course.
Is there a chance that those without experience can be hired as Reva?
I did not have experience, and I was hired. Yes.
So for those asking about the course, we will be giving it to you guys later on via email. Dario is saying, I'm currently completing my FBA and having Reva as an add-on that helps.
Yeah.
There are calling tasks that you can also do. So if you are into real estate, you have experience in BPO, maybe you can focus on that. And just what I mentioned earlier, it's not that hard. Unlike for the ones in BPO that you have sales, you need to have a quota, but calling, and even if you don't like calls, you can also focus on social media or doing MLS, the task that Sir Jay mentioned earlier, you can focus on each one.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I also mentioned on this one. We will be sending you the email. I know a lot of you guys are responding and excited for this one. Pwede po ba mag-enroll ang Filipino na nasa States? Yes.
Yeah. But make sure that you put in your hourly rate for American rate.
Yeah.
Because you're already in the US, okay? You can't get paid as what Filipinos are getting paid in the Philippines. We get paid $14 an hour. You probably get $15, $20, $25 an hour.
Hi, Coach Jay. What skills do you think are needed to become a real estate virtual assistant? Do you need knowledge in real estate?
You do need knowledge in real estate. However, the training is going to give you all of that knowledge in real estate investing, how to ask for property information, how to come up with appraisal, how to find comparables on the properties. All of those are going to be taught to you in the course. So, going through the course will really, I told you earlier, make you basically a master of this.
Do you need to be excellent in math? No, I was able to do BPOs because you're only going to compare. Like, for example,
Apple to apple.
yeah, apple to apple. Like, this house has 4 rooms and 2 bathrooms or toilets.
Compared to that
House,
bathroom.
yeah. And how many? How if it's multi-family, all of the appraisals you're going to do should be all multi-family. If it's single family, so that will be apple to apple, just like what Coach Shi mentioned. How do we learn about appraisals?
Through the course. Through the course, really, it's all detailed. It's all taught in detail through the course.
Are there any competitors aside from Reva?
None.
So that's the beauty why a lot of students are able to really get. And I don't know if you know this one, but it was actually Coach Jay who started freelancing, compared to us. And when he transitioned into freelancing, he was earning 42,000 pesos. And I was
the very beginning.
Yeah, and he was like doing Craigslist, doing social media, promoting. It was called $1 Million Living. Okay,
so I started working for this guy that sells mansions for celebrities, NBA players, and he sells about 2 to 3 mansions a week, and he paid me about $1,200, $1,300 a month, which to him is dirt cheap, and to us it's 40,000 a month. So
yeah, so you would be able to gain a lot, and earn really a lot. So thank you very much for all of this. Okay. Hi, Coach. About the premium offers 199, can I subscribe monthly, a one-time payment only? If you're under the premium offer, no need to buy this course because you have all of our courses for free. And the beauty with the 999, it's only for 3 months. After 3 months, it will only be 1599. Okay, on your month 4 to 6, and then after 6 months, it will only be 999. So no need to go buy this one anymore. Early bird, yes, you can also purchase that one, but wait for our email. It might be beneficial for you. Is it hard to apply as Reva for those who don't have experience? I think Coach Shi mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
It's not. How long is the in-depth Reva training? 1 month.
1 month. But you can finish it earlier if you want to.
Yeah, if you don't, if you have a lot of time. Non-voice tasks, yes, there are. I have an interview tomorrow for a real estate company. Good luck. And US, so this free training is so timely. Thank you so much. Any tips for the interview? This position is assistant in transaction coordination. So TC.
Okay, transaction coordination. So basically, you're doing appraisals. He's probably going to ask you about experience on a BPO, broker price opinion, which I guess you probably don't have yet. Again, what I would say is just be honest and tell them that, hey, I'm willing to learn, you know, willing to learn. So
Maybe you can also mention what you have learned here so far. Okay, watch this video over and over again. It might also be including your MLS or multiple listing services, the
okay.
counting.
So remember this: multiple listing service, MLS, BPO, that's broker price opinion, okay, and then appraisal. Those are words that they're gonna be using when they talk to you, and you gotta show them that you understand those words, because then they'll be like, okay, then you have a chance to learn this. Okay, broker price opinion, multiple listing service, appraisal. Okay.
What are the things that we can learn and include in our portfolio? I think I mentioned it earlier. We talked about, all of these things right here. You're going to be learning about real estate basics. You can also learn about different types of real estate tasks, transaction coordination and MLS, different types of tasks under REO or real estate owned, also in real estate investing, and then commercial, industrial, and all of these things right here. Okay, so those are things that you're going to learn. Rina is saying true portfolio is very important, as what I was hired because of my portfolio during the training. So I think we also have done this one. I'm sorry, we have 9 more minutes. Okay, thank you for answering my first question. Relate po sa active proposal in Upwork and real estate company looking for cold seller. Cold caller, I want to accept the proposal kahit wala pa akong experience.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. The only way to gain experience is to do it. So yeah, go for it.
And I think this also relates to that, even if you don't have any experience.
Uh-huh.
Is Reva paid training or live recorded? So there are how many live sessions?
We have
Coach
two
Jay?
live sessions, and then we have
Around
how many?
14.
Yeah, 14 recorded videos.
So it's also going to be, yes, you can include, you can enroll in both, applicable
Yeah.
for you. Yes. So even if the clients are based in Australia, Canada, Europe,
Yeah.
Europe, all of the ones, it's applicable. Company part-time, is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
That,
So
that depends on the company, okay? If they're looking for a part-timer, they're looking for a full-timer. Yeah.
So Instagram platform management, Reva as part of your branding,
Yes, that's also part of the course. Grace is teaching the social
social
media.
media.
So yeah, it's there.
For May 7, yeah, I think that's the start of the courses that I'm handling. For coaching, it's usually the first Thursday of the month. Local clients, yes.
There is.
Mhm.
Although our real estate business in the Philippines is different, but there are local clients.
Mm-mm. And you can also, I think a lot of our students in the past in Reva course has been coming from the real estate companies here in the Philippines. And
I would say this though, if you have your own money and you know you can buy a property, try applying what you learn in the Reva course
flipping properties.
about flipping properties, which I teach very thoroughly. Applying that here in the Philippines, excuse me, buy a property, fix it, and sell it. Buy a really cheap property, fix it, make it look good, and sell it.
Use
Staging and all that stuff.
use social media, use website,
It
you can
will
earn
it will
a
turn you a
million per
millionaire. Yeah.
property. I was enrolled in Reva course in 2020, but unable to finish. Yes, Joe, right now we have re-access for 500 and recertification for 1,000. So maybe you want to email me afterwards. I'm a sales manager in real estate. How can I boost sales using this course? When will be the training at the nearest? Ronald,
So Ronald, are you a sales manager for real estate in the
I
Philippines
think so, yeah.
or in the US? It's again, I mentioned earlier, it's different here in the Philippines. We don't do the process that real estate in the US do. But if you're asking how to boost your sales here in the Philippines,
That's part also in the social media
hmm,
management.
social media would be the best for you. And then it would really take time for you explaining to buyers, okay, this property costs this much because that property there is this property here is things like it's just a different process.
But you can apply the
But you can.
techniques, yeah. Uh, After completing the core training, guarantee po ba? I would probably say, Crystal, 90% to 95% of the time, because you have your portfolio. So if you are certified and you know the skills, so just like what we mentioned earlier, it's not about enrolling. It's not about enrolling in Surge, even if we are the market leader in the country and maybe even in Asia, but it's all about learning the skill. So if you learn the skill, you have the certification, you have the proofs, you have the work samples, for sure you will be hired, because those are the things that clients are looking for.
But understand this, it's still the same as trying to find a job in the Philippines. If you're not persistent and you get discouraged by the second, the third time you get turned down, you'll never find a job. Online is the same thing. You look for a job, you won't get hired right away, but when you do, it's because you persisted. Okay, you don't easily quit because nobody's giving you attention.
Yeah. So, but for sure, if you're asking about will the training help you, for sure. That's usually the defining factor between the ones that are hired or the ones that are not hired. Usual hours and locations of clients. Usually it's the US. That's EST.
EST.
Mm. So how much is the rate for property management assistant? If you are trained,
If you're trained, you can get somewhere around $15-20 an hour. If you're only starting, you can get somewhere around $3 to $7 an hour. And then how many hours depends on the client. You can do 40 hours a week, 20 hours a week. But in Philippine peso, you'd definitely be getting around 20 to 30,000 a month for sure.
can I use REVA training as a factor for salary increase? For sure, especially if it's related, and any of our training. Is note investing part of REVA? I'm not really sure if what note
Investing.
investing is.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah. I'm not really sure if it's related to real estate, but so far I think all of the ones related to real estate we have covered it. Are you the coach for REVA course, Coach Jay?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And ask after completing the training, okay, I think I already have this one. Sessions, discussions. We will be emailing it to you guys. Okay, so watch out after this one. Just give us probably an hour. We will be sending you the feedback form. Fill in the feedback form, and then after that, that will be the basis of your certification. And then we will be also giving you the course on how you can enroll. Is it possible to have clients, one from VA and one from REVA?
Yeah.
Yes, very much.
When we started, I was working for Reva and she was working for some other clients, but she would have clients that will be during my work hours. So I would be working for that client without the client knowing. And then I would have clients that around her time, she'd be working for the client. So we're basically tag teaming. That's how we made a lot of money.
I'm planning to use insert. Okay, I think we already answered this one for some. Will there be client recommendation after? Yes, we have it incorporated in all of our courses, maybe in Reva or other 50 courses that we will give you referrals, also in-house hiring. There will also be free apprenticeships. Okay, I think we already have this one. Are we on our own or we have consult? Yeah, you can access, and it's also going to be self-directed, but if you have questions you can always email me or Coach Jay, and we will be there to assist. And there will also be 2 live coaching sessions, and you can also ask questions there. Does company provide training? So there are companies that provide training,
Paid training.
or paid training, but there are also others that don't. So that's why they are looking for the ones that are already paid. So you coming in with your certificate, they would appreciate it because they don't have to start from scratch. Okay. I think we already answered a few of this. Maybe I'll go and probably answer 2 more. I think some of this have already been tools. What are they also mentioned or used?
Can we use Java tools for our portfolio such as REI, Reply Podio? Yeah, yeah. Actually, we talk about Podio in one of the courses, and then what are mainly used by real estate investors and real estate agents.
So, do you help students with job applications? Yes, it's incorporated. That's a part of the Models lessons. And then we also send referrals if you are done with the course. Okay, because again, this is about skill training. So, if you are not done with the course, we will be a little bit hesitant to refer you to potential clients because you don't know how it's being done. Okay, so make sure that you finish. Can I take Reva first at the freelancing course too? Yes, you can, no problem. How much is the fee? We're going to be emailing it to you. Are you going to have like a community as freelancers? Yes, we have a
We
community.
already do.
Yeah, we already do. It's called Surge Family. So you can also ask questions there. You can also ask guidance. Completing, I think we already have this one. Okay. Uh, do you have interaction? Yes. There are also interaction between groups and then also live coaching sessions. Okay. All right. Last one. I know we have a lot more. If we weren't able to answer your question, our apologies. How many portfolio that needs to be completed? I think only 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the rest are bonus lessons. Okay. How long does it take for you to find clients? Right now it's very in demand, so maybe it's going to be very quick. It's one of our most in demand niches, so you might be able to find client right away after the training or even sometimes in the middle of the training. Okay, so any parting words, Coach Jay, before we're going to give them the code?
Okay, so being a virtual assistant doesn't matter if it's real estate, social media marketing, doesn't matter. It's still a job. Just because we say you earn a lot of money, you make a lot of money, doesn't mean that you can just apply for a job, not provide good output, and you still make thousands and thousands of pesos. That's not true. It never happens like that. It's still a job. You still have to perform. And if you don't perform, you get fired. Okay, so don't don't look at how much money you're gonna make yet. Look at what you can produce and how you could be helpful to a company, and the money will come. Okay, and the income will come, because the mindset here that we find with other people is that because it's home based, they think they can just lay down and not provide good output and still get paid a lot of money. That's wrong. um, this is still business, this is still a job, and if you're not performing well, you're going to lose the job, you're going to lose the opportunity. Okay, so think of it that way. It's still a job. The only plus here is that you're working from home and you're earning dollars.
And you have time with family and travel, and you can achieve your goals higher. So here we go. This is us right here. Please get connected with us. We are Surge Marketplace. You can also email me at grace@surgedigital.agency. Our website is surgedigital.agency. You can email me or Coach Jay. Please watch out for the feedback form, also uh, the course information, the one that we're going to be offering you as a gift. Thank you so much for being with us. And this is our code right here. We will also be asking you a question. So Reva Hat 22. We have this one because it's a hot market right now. A lot of people are transitioning into being established at home. So it's time for you to assist a lot of brokers, a lot of agents, and become a real estate virtual assistant. So that would be all for tonight. Thank you so much. We will see you guys again next week. Bye and God bless you all.